and now doing a whole lot of other different things I never thought I'd be doing. I want to thank you all for your support and your messages. We're getting between 3,000 and 5,000 text messages, emails, and other comments every day, and 99% of them are extremely favourable. We thank you for your support and your love and your care for what we're doing. We thank those people around the world who are at the moment watching Australia with bated breath. We need your love and support. We need you to put a spotlight on Australia from where you are. We thank those who are protesting outside our embassies in various countries around the world. Some of you have never been to Australia, but you're so horrified at what you're seeing, the images you're seeing on the internet about police brutality and lockdowns. You have seen Australia's second largest city, Melbourne, that once was the most livable city in the world many years in a row, is now the most locked down city in the world, and the people are really, truly struggling. Suicide rates are going through the roof. Police brutality is at an all-time high, and they're even firing live ammunition, rubber bullets at our citizens for protesting against draconian mandates and rules. Thank you for keeping a spotlight on us. We need your help. We need you to keep an eye on us. For those of you who were at the hashtag Reclaim the Line strike on Friday at all the locations around Australia, 20 of them, I want to say it was an absolute pleasure to be invited to speak at the rally at the Tweed border, at the Coolangatta Tweed Heads border of Queensland and New South Wales. I met many hundreds of people there. Sadly, the media reported that it was an anti-vax protest, which it wasn't. It was a pro-choice protest. There is a big difference. These people are fighting for the rights of people both vaccinated and non-vaccinated. And it was also reported only 200 people attended when there were almost 2,000. So we'd like to thank all those people who attended, and I'd also like to thank, with the most impassioned thank you that I can, to the men and women of the New South Wales and Queensland Police Force who attended. It was an absolute blessing to see the way you managed the crowd. You were dignified, you were friendly, you were engaged, and we really appreciated it. You also responded very well to the cheers you were given every time your behaviour was mentioned, and you exemplified what is about police work in Australia that we've always become used to. We're not used to seeing what we're seeing in Victoria, and it's horrifying police not only in all states of Australia but all around the world. So thank you for your behaviour, and you are really a cut above at the moment, and we know you're under pressure too. A lot of you are facing mandates that you're not happy with, and we know a lot of you are not happy with the way that your colleagues are being used around the country. And I want to thank your commanders for approaching this with dignity and honour and respect. When the videos of the interaction between the crowd and the police in attendance found their way to Victoria, it made a lot of people really sad. It made Victorians really sad, and it made a large number of Victorian police really sad. And I want to talk about Victoria now, because I've got some pretty strong and good news for those people living in Victoria who are now facing yet another mandate by dictator Dan. The evening after the rally on the Gold Coast, I was speaking to 200 Victorian police officers on a Zoom call. These are police officers who are not happy with the mandate to be vaccinated without being able to give informed consent, and they're also unhappy about the way that they're being treated. One officer described to me what it was like at one of the rallies along the Yarra River on the weekend, where they were standing there peacefully watching the protesters walk past, some people pushing prams with children in them and strollers, etc. And out of the hundreds that passed by this group that were just standing there relaxed and watching the crowd go by, only one person in 45 minutes said good morning to them. And they were sad because they realised what they'd lost. And I'm sad for them too, because I've got a lot of respect for the Victoria Police. I lived there for many years, and I drove around with a blue and white checked ribbon hanging off the rear vision mirror of my car for many years in respect of our police officers over there. And many of us were deeply touched when 4 of their members were killed on the freeway just not so long ago. It was heartbreaking. And so now they're in a situation where all that's lost. All that's gone because of a few knuckleheads in the police force down there, and a leadership that is absolutely, it's either inept or it's being supremely controlled by forces outside of its own purview. So if that's happening, that needs to stop. And Victorian police officers are starting to march with their feet. Many are going on stress leave, some are resigning in protest, and one in particular a brave senior constable who resigned just recently in protest about the way he's being used and the mandates, will be speaking to me in about a week or so, and we'll make that interview public. He's coming out and he's joining the likes of myself, Alex Cooney, John Larter, and Christian Mack, the teacher, in joining a spearhead of people who are saying that we need to restore our spirit in this country, and we need to start caring and respecting for each other and restoring the spirit of the Anzacs. So he's going to join us. I won't mention his name now. He's a great individual. I chatted to him for an hour and a half last night, and his integrity is exemplary. And he wants to see Victoria Police restored to its once former position in Victoria and indeed in Australia. Now, the really good news, before I get to the good news, there's also another ridiculous mandate by Daniel Andrews stating that every worker, pretty much in Victoria, needs to be double jabbed by the 15th of October. That's a threat. It's a coercive threat. Because at the moment there must be at least 7 million Australians who haven't even looked at the end of a needle yet, and who probably are either being coerced and feeling downtrodden and bullied by not only the governments but by some citizens who are seeing them as cowards and calling them names and coming down on them. You know, this has to stop. This is not what Australia's about. We can't descend into that kind of rabble. And these people are being forced to look down the barrel of losing their careers, losing their businesses, losing their jobs, their families, their homes, who knows what else, by this ridiculous mandate. The rumour going around, and it's pretty strong, is that all these vaccines are about to expire on the 15th of October, and those vaccines numbering the tens of millions will have to be thrown out at the cost of many millions of dollars to the Australian taxpayer. So the situation we're in now is this is about fighting for our rights. It doesn't matter to the people involved whether you are vaccinated or not. It's okay. It's not about that. We're here to respect each other for our choices, and we respect you, whatever you've chosen. We ask for your respect in return. But this is about restoring relationships and approaching a rebuilding phase in the country when this is but a memory, and it's coming soon. And I want to say that the people who are out there protesting at the moment, peaceably protesting in the most case, and we denounce any violence related to the protests from either side, these people who you may be criticising because you think they're causing trouble are actually fighting for rights that you yourself may one day need in the very near future when we face the climate crisis. We haven't seen draconian measures yet until we face what's coming. We need to be prepared for that, and in order to be prepared for that, we need to hang on to those rights that were fought and died for by our fathers and grandfathers in far-off battlefields, as I've said. We have to hang on to those rights. They don't deserve the lack of respect that we're showing by just caving into everything that's thrown at us. It doesn't happen. It mustn't happen. So for those workers who are looking down the barrel of redundancy or the end of your livelihood or business as a result of this latest move by Dictator Dan, I've got some great news for you. The Victoria Police has started a policeforfreedom.org page, www.policeforfreedom.org. And that will take you to some questionnaires you can fill in, a survey that you can fill in, and it's open to police from every part of Australia, not just Victoria. And this is a union that's starting to set itself up autonomous from police management and autonomous from the current union that now supports police in various states, and they're joining it by their hundreds. This union also backs 9,000 medical workers, doctors and nurses in the same position have joined this union and resigned from the unions that they were once part of. So this is a great movement that's building. Now, what I want you to know that's good about this is set up by Victorian police who don't like what you're going through in Victoria. They're going through it with you. These are citizen police. Citizen police. They're not bullies. They're upset with the way they're being represented. And it's really sad what's going on for these guys. They're being harassed by people in the streets because they don't feel that they're trusted anymore, and they understand. So what they've done now is they're opening up policeforfreedom.org for you who are authorised workers in Victoria who are now facing yet another ridiculous mandate. So there is hope for you, and they're opening up. They want to embrace you in the same situation that they're in the actions that they're involved in. And I want to read you an email that I received last night. And I support this movement totally. I support thoroughly policeforfreedom.org and the beautiful people, police officers who are kicking this off and all the others who are joining them. So if you're an authorised worker and not a police officer, please take note of this and pay careful attention to what I'm going to tell you, because it is actually good news. A group of Victorian police employees initially started a support group for those who were opposed to an encroaching mandate of COVID-19 vaccinations. Since the Victorian Premier's announcement on Friday the 29th of September that all authorised workers must be vaccinated. Essentially, no jab, no job. Aren't we used to that by now? By the 15th of October. The members, the Victorian police members who've started this, have decided to campaign for all of the Victorian workers. They're campaigning for you. All the Victorian workers who fall under the authorised workers banner. You hearing me? These are the coppers who are reclaiming their authenticity and their integrity, and they want to do that with you as a community. Since the 30th of September 2021, 2,400 people have joined the class action to take this to the Supreme Court of Victoria. These are people from all walks of life. They are teachers, truck drivers, charity workers, supermarket employees, butchers, early childhood. The list goes on. If you want to join them in this class action, are you hearing me? If you want to join them in this class action, you're being welcomed to go to www.policeforfreedom.org and fill out the survey for Victoria police members against the mandate. You can fill out that survey whether you're a police officer or not. Please also go to the GoFundMe page and donate. Vic authorised workers against vaccine mandates, and all the addresses and the information you'll be needed when you'll need for that are on the website policeforfreedom.org. Now, I don't know about you, but I reckon that's a great start to a rebuild of our spirit in Australia. As I said, we're not talking about vaccines, and it doesn't matter if you've made a decision one way or the other. We're talking about restoring what was lost, the spirit of our country. We've gone from being, she'll be right, mate, to dobbing each other in, ringing triple O for the slightest thing. We're seeing people arrested for not wearing masks, people being pepper sprayed, shot at with rubber bullets, live ammunition being fired in our streets. I mean, that's deplorable. Any government that stands for that, federal or state, needs to have a serious look at itself. And I say again, we need citizens in Parliament. We need citizens, not politicians. And there's a few citizens in there that carry the mantra of politician, and they're fighting too. But they need to be joined by people that don't have some kind of ulterior vested interest. So, in finalising what I have to say, Victoria, your police force is not completely bankrupt. Your police force have many members who are standing with you now who are facing the same challenges you are. They're citizens just like you. They're looking down the barrel of losing their careers for these ridiculous mandates. They're also being locked down when they're not working. They have the same restrictions as you do, and they don't like what they're being forced to do to you. And I'm here to tell you, many of them are being very, very lenient. Read my lips. They are being very, very lenient. Don't assume when you come up against a police officer that you may automatically be written a ticket or arrested. They're not all thinking that way. Side with your police. Side with the guys and girls who are standing for your rights. They're going to make themselves known very soon. And I look forward to seeing you in a few days when I interview and have a great chat to a senior constable who's stepping out, who's resigned in protest and is joining the ranks of John Larder, myself, Alex Cooney, and also with Christian Mack, the teacher, in spearheading this drive to get our nation's freedoms back and rebuild our spirit. Whatever you do out there, if you're protesting or you're out walking, do it safely, do it with respect, treat the police with respect, regardless of what's going on. Don't antagonise anybody. Just keep yourself nice and keep yourself safe and true. So from me, it's stay out of the trees. Thanks for flying with me, and I look forward to seeing you very soon when we take off for another journey. God bless you and see you soon. Bye for now.